Being calm and not anxious all the time, it is actually a learnable skill. And once you have it, it's very difficult to lose it. So let's look at some of the ways that we can make ourselves more calm. But first, we have to understand what causes us to feel more calm. And this is familiarity. Like, oh, I've seen that before. Have you ever had this experience where you go and then you take a test? You look down and you see these questions and you have absolutely no idea how to do it. I'm not kidding when I say this. I had a guy that started swearing in the middle of a test. But if you have seen the question before, you won't feel as anxious because it won't really be a surprise anymore. And this applies to most of life. If you don't know what's on the other side, you get anxious. But here's the problem. Your first time of doing anything, you will feel a degree of anxiousness because you don't know what to expect. So does that mean you have to stay anxious every time you try something new? Well, here's the good news. It does not stay that way. This is because the more times that you do something, the more you'll actually realize that the first time experience itself is a first time experience. This means that you have gone to the other side enough for you to feel familiar with the whole process. And that's when you start to have this natural calmness about you that you can't lose. And you don't see real men freaking out over every small thing that's happening because they've been on the other side so many times. What you really need is that emotional experience to prepare yourself. If you're looking to become a man that knows their way around the world, hit that subscribe button. But is only taking like tons of risk in order to be calm, is that like the only solution? Personally, I think there should be a balance. Because when you know you're safe, that's also when you're willing to be unsafe. That definitely sounded a little better when it was in my head. Take for instance, if you have enough in your savings account, then you'll feel more comfortable going and buying a PS5 or eating something a little nicer. And again, this is the same for life. When you feel like the most important thing to you is safe, let's say like reputation or something, then you'll feel much more calm to actually try everything else because you're not really risking anything anymore. So the biggest question here that I want to ask you is, what are you risking? If you can figure that out and keep it safe, you'll feel much less anxious and much more calm about your life. However, if this is something that you cannot control, like other people's approval, then you really understand why exactly you feel so anxious all the time. Unless you change that. However, getting more life experiences alone does not make you more calm. You need also other factors in place, and one of them being situational awareness. Because the person that's paying attention to their surroundings all the time is rarely surprised. That person will make a really bad horror movie. But I'm pretty sure that none of us here wants our life to be a horror movie. When I say situational awareness, I'm not really talking about literally go and look around. I'm talking about scanning around and looking for potential problems that might happen, and also things that are kind of out of place. And I know, to some people this might make you even more anxious trying to think about all the possible worst scenarios that could happen. But think of it more like this. Do you feel more safe when you have car insurance? Absolutely, because you have addressed a problem that you might have. If you're expecting the surprise, then you won't be surprised or anxious. It's kind of like driving your car around knowing that you have a spare tire. Yeah, it's really important. This calmness really comes from understanding the situation around you and taking action. But even with all these different experiences, you need one last thing. And this is the commitment to not get knocked off. If you don't think that this is important, just go watch a basketball game or any sports game. Look at the body language of someone that has given up. Even if they actually had a chance, they gave up and it's gone. And this is the same with remaining calm and confident in any situation. The moment that you tell yourself, I don't know anything, or I can't do this, you gave up just like those guys. Then you'll panic and then you'll lose. Even if you have all the right skills and abilities, if you convince yourself that you can't, it is already over. So by default, be committed to not getting knocked off in any situation. So you can let me know your thoughts down in the comments, and I will see you in my next video.